Whenever I see a cripple dragging along the snow-clad streets of Petersburg, I feel apologetic. Why? For being whole. Not that I'm ever all that whole, but fact is, you see, when I'm speaking to the departed, I feel keenly this awkward sense of being too much alive. It's an embarrassment. I'm tempted to say, all this dervishing of motion, all this pitter-patter, this jabbermouth, death out for a Sunday stroll, and I, sir, am as stone-wall dead as you. We'll be knocking our old dry bones together in no time. Which brings me to the purpose of this. Well, really, I never know what to call these little confabs. In a way, you are my Pope, so this is an audience, and yet, isn't it strange to have an audience with someone who is sitting in the palm of one's hand? But let's bracket that, shall we? Bracket, as the philosophers would say, or is it the theologians? You'd probably say all of theology is a bracket, eh? The thing about a jest with a skull, one can never be quite so sure how it's landed, To the purpose, eh? My purpose, old skull, is this. I need you to let me listen through the gray nest and the meat of your skull bone. Let me listen to the voice of the eternal. What do I need out of the absolute? It's this, simply. If I die, if she dies, if both of us die, if she leaves me to run away with another, in other words, whatever the future will look like, will she love me forever? I mean until the end of time. Time that can have no end, no beginning. It's like this. She loves me now. That's the one great thing ever to happen on the earth. Thing is, though, I have this trouble in my sleep and the restless concern for what it means if it ever were to cease. In our lifetime, beyond it. If I cannot be sure it's forever, I don't know that I can function. Functionality is crucial, critical, as they say in the labs, eh? Soon I'll be married again. I can't be out of commission, But I suppose you could say, I'm a touch of a tortured man. Yes, even in the face of this fondest of fortune, perhaps because of it, you see. Loved by the brightest of lights, old Ilya's darker by the day. No question, it unsettles me. No calmness here, straightaway agitation. Have you ever? Which is why, my Pope, you need desperately to help me. Not an hour left to lose. Another few nights I'll be banging the walls, whistling with the wind, climbing over the summit of the world. Understood? Am I that close to the edge? Oh, my Pope, my cold, gray demon of teeth and sockets, you are my last chance for the boots of a man. Without your help, I am naked paws in the snow. Don't you see? This condition could work to my advantage. In this heightened state of quite rational consternation, my mind, such as it is, well, you will find it surprisingly adroit, agile, bendable to every sort of signal, every beam of enlightenment. What the engineers are calling a receiver, eh? I believed she had told her young, dilettante, rich boy poet about the engagement in a letter, like she said. But then came a message at the window. Yes, the window. You know the way it works. Crisp, clear, sound as a solicitor. In came the window word that my sweet little Elena Nestorovna had met him again at the cafe. Oh, yes. Now you see. Cigarettes. Excitement of Bolshaya Konyushnaya Street. Tete-a-tete, youth to youth, all that I am not. She, wanting it once, wanting it forever. Even now, after the vows of love. The band's all published now, especially, you see. Burning, youthful spark of the darling devil in her. You see, sir, the inescapable logic? Sound! Sir! Sound! Sound! Sir! Sound! What arrives at the window? My dispatches from the field are like, well, no need for metaphors, eh? Top-notch, as they say in the clubs of London. Tight, tight, hup, brump. If there's a head to rail from a touch of the old nasty, you don't need a crunchy little mistake, eh? Oh, he was back at that table with her, sweet-smelling, bright-eyed, face without a blemish, reeking of his cologne from Rue de Rivoli. You don't think I don't know? I mean, you think I know? I mean, you think that I don't know? The window. The window. What's next after the window? Ah, the chase. Eh, Watson? Oh, and Watson, bring the revolver. Ha ha! That came on the wing from my most trusted envoys, my Euclideans, my Thomas Aquinases, my Napoleonic attachés, my... Excuse me, Monsieur Skull, I am a little light-headed, a little carried away with myself. If that little bitch of a liar would even imagine that a man of my complexion would tolerate youth, table, cafe, wine, brie, croissant, cigarettes, cologne from Rue de Rivoli, sip of this face-to-face, sip of that. Oh, by the way, on my father's estate, by the way, a fine sheet of damier that my father brought home, if you'd like to come see. Sheet. Sheet. All that goddamn primrose cosmopolitan nomenclature! Sure, you little shit! Take the sheet in your hands and I will kill you down dead! Except that I have this Meniere's. The labyrinth. Bad balance in the head. Trying to stand up straight, reach my darling across the room. Not a good time to fight that pasty-ass Twitburger, eh? And, old Skullheimer, I've never fired a pistol, never held a saber. And so, yes, correct, of course, the little shitsky could make me into a fine coleslaw. Yes, he could, and so what would be the point? You can't go to the altar in slivers, in slices, eh? Can't say the vows dressed in mayonnaise. How now? What's that? Did you say Siberia? That is exactly where, if I paid for a proper absconsion, what Stevenson calls a kidnap, eh? No, I would not have that blonde butt of a bastard transported. For that is the first place to which she would journey off to hunt for his besotted skunk of a carcass. No, I have my own dark cell of banishment. My own private nowhere for that skimp of a Dutch weasel.
the Hebrides. This is why you, my Pope, consent to these little confabs, for whoever else would dream of the Hebrides? That is exactly what you have admired in me. Imagination. Imagination! Specificity. Skulls don't encounter that around every stone. Plus, who else keeps you safely, my lord, not to be pluckered and plundered by students of dentistry? I think that has earned me a favor or two, no?
Besides, I appreciate every favor you have done for me. You asked me to boil the black cat. I did. You asked me to breathe on the bone before I met with her. Did that too. Why do I travel it in my vest? You said, who knows better the beneficence of bone? Tell me, do the dead doze ever? Or are you awake to your deadness all the time? Something else. Does it bother you, the amount of water we have around us everywhere? Do you ever feel pressurized? That's a word from the academy. Pressurized. They use it for, never mind all that. Rivers, oceans, canals, lakes. You don't feel a firmness slipping away from under you? What? I appear to be stalling? Ha! I am! Discovered! Diagnosed! Foiled, as the villain used to say. Found out. Reeled in. Enough then, I agree. Enough. Now's the time. And so now, you must allow me to listen. Old, original mind, repository of all law, all word, Sir Skull hath vouched for my troth, and thus I, Ilya the unworthy, place my soul at the mercy of thy eternal, blessed, bleeding heart. And so, please, tell me. Tell me all that there is for me to know. Or else, I am a shivering, old, gashed up wolf. Alone. Alone in the mountains.